What's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here back in place. This is, of course, Road to Part 1, the weekly podcast, episode 3, by the way. Road to Part 1, episode 3. The weekly podcast dedicated to any and all things Last of Us Part 1 Remake, from news, lore, reactions, and upon release, our review along with the spoiler cast, question mark, we'll see, to end the series. Maybe a nice, we talked about this, like a nice, real look at what this was.
Yeah,
What the last
like an
part
evaluation.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Of like a true assessment, if you will, like further
100%.
than the review, further than the review. And with me, of course, the golden hair golden boy, Piers Patek. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well, man. We're back.
Yes, sir.
Back for another episode.
It feels like we just did episode 2.
It does, which is weird though, because it's like there's a week and a day as opposed to just a week.
Yeah, it's been longer than the break was from 1 and 2. Yeah, I know, kind of crazy. Yeah, you're right. I've still been here. I haven't been able to work because of the old COVID.
Yeah, how are you feeling, man?
I feel great. I feel good.
Oh,
yeah. I've had no symptoms since Tuesday. Maybe?
Okay, good.
Yeah. I feel solid. Yeah, no, I'm definitely good. I still waited on going back to the gym. I'm probably gonna do that next week. Start to get back on that. Which with this whole monkeypox, I'm still kind of about going to the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll figure it out. There are, of course, 19 days until The Last of Us Part 1 Remake does drop. And of course, before we go even further, links below in the description to Peter Spatek's Twitter, Hitbox Podcast, portfolio, all that great, hire him, all that great stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Take a job. I'll take a job.
I will certainly take a job. Oh wait, do you watch Better Call Saul?
I don't. I've heard it's incredible though.
Bro,
I watched Breaking Bad back in the day. Is it as good as everyone's saying?
I think it's better than Breaking Bad. I mean, look. We'll see when this, because the last series finale, the last episode, is on Monday night. Yeah, like it's about to be all over.
No kidding.
We'll see, but man, I love it. I have so much anxiety over this last episode, bro. I can't. Do you see Jason? Why am I forgetting his last name? Jason Schreier. How he always tweets about Better Call Saul. That's my bro. I'm right there with him. I'm like, man, this last episode is gonna be crazy.
So I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Because I know the premise. I think I watched maybe the first few episodes of it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it so good? Is it just it's just really well written and acted and all that? Because he's a great actor. What's
Bob Odenkirk? Yeah, incredible. What it is, honestly, it's so. Number one, I think the writing is, maybe better than Breaking Bad in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot. I'd say this show is definitely a lot more suspenseful and tense as opposed to Breaking Bad. I feel just the big spectacle of that is that it's such a interesting premise, right?
Yeah.
In this show, you're dealing with lawyers, right?
Yeah.
You're dealing with courtrooms, right? You're dealing with there is heavy emphasis on the cartel and all that, but it's not crazy scenarios per se as an old biology teacher or chemistry teacher that has cancer and he's a drug dealer. It's weird that they, well, not weird, but it's just super commendable that they made a very mundane lawyer show of what it sounds like be something so much more than that, right? And to really see I view Saul completely different.
Interesting. Okay.
Bro, I don't I almost want to however you view Saul in Breaking Bad, after you watch Better Call Saul, you'll be this is a tragic character. It's absolutely tragic. It is so good, bro. And Kimberly Wexler is
I've seen her name going around Twitter.
We love Kim. We stand
you like
Kim.
her? Okay.
We stand Kim. We truly stand Kim. And we'll see what happens in the last episode. But we love Kim. Yes, we do.
Dang, maybe I should check this out.
Bro, it's so good, bro. It's so good.
And does it I saw that Walt and Jesse were in it
Yes.
for like an episode or two. How much does it cross over with Breaking Bad? A lot or not?
Not a lot until like this last season. This last season, we're pretty well because you go into the Breaking Bad timeline as well as beyond it, and beyond it, there's a lot of stuff beyond it. That's like a lot there. Like,
gotcha.
Even more so than like, I mean, probably around the same time frame as like El Camino, right?
Okay.
Like around there, but like I think even further than that. Yeah, like it's a lot. It's so good.
Dang.
It's very good.
Dang. Okay.
Very good.
I will take that recommendation.
While you're taking that recommendation, though, housekeeping below, catch the show here on youtube.com/Blazing Source, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, etc. via the anchor link down below in the description. Like the video and or rate the podcast. It really does help us get seen by more viewers so we can grow the PSS family. Down below as well, let us know what you like or dislike about the show. Do you like Better Call Saul? Do you hate it? Let me know. And also, connect with us further on Twitter and Discord in the description. Feeling generous? Hit that join button, become a member of the channel with the $1 Prince tier, just like the people with Musa, and our $5 King tier members, just like Caleb Kaiser, the Iraq Knight, and the homie Owen as well. Stream series, you know, we'll see. I gotta take that out. Cause like where I'm at right now, there's no sustainability to support the streaming, you know what I'm saying? So,
no, I know what you mean.
So we're gonna take a little break on that, but it's all good. It's y'all will hear my thoughts on games for sure. You know, just won't be live. You know,
I mean, you're uploading content like
I try
every single day, man. Or I mean, close to it. Like,
what I am gonna miss though is reacting to state of plays and all that, which will, that is gonna. I fucking love doing the see a play reactions, but we'll see. Or the plays and showcase reactions, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. I've been talking for too much. Peter, what have you? Oh, I see you have an interesting little hardware type deal. Okay, whatever you've been playing with, bro. What's up?
All right, so I talked last week about Xenoblade. I'm still playing that, and like that's pretty much been all that I've touched, with one exception. I mean, for video, for the people who are watching the video. I've got with me right here the PlayStation Backbone. Have you picked one up? Are you a mobile gamer?
I mean, I really want to be because of Final Fantasy VII First Soldier. You know, that like Battle Royale, and like there's a few other games too. But like I really need to just pull a trigger. I'm just not at a space right now for you know, to use $100 in that way per se. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But soon definitely I will pick it up. I sent it. Email the Backbone trying to be like, hey, yo, you know, you're trying to do a little hardware review, you know what I'm saying? But no reply. But please let me know about this Backbone.
Well, I'm a huge Backbone fan. I've got the original here. And so I picked up the PlayStation 1 sort of just out of curiosity. Because I mean, when they announced that it was happening, they made it really clear, hey, this is not a DualSense controller. Like, this is like same exact thing as the Backbone, other than like you've got the, you know, traditional PlayStation face buttons and all that. You've got like a little PlayStation logo on the back of it. But this is, you know, pound for pound, the exact same thing as the original Backbone. And I picked it up despite that because I wanted to see like how exactly it was different. And like at the end of the day, like it's the same thing. It's just a different color and like the face buttons are different. But to be honest with you, man, I'm kind of disappointed in this thing. There are some like, this is an official PlayStation piece of hardware. And like, there are some PlayStation games that are unplayable on this. So like to do some tests, cause like there are some games that like lean really heavily into the DualSense, right? Like you cannot play Astro's Playroom on this thing. You can kind of play Returnal or Ratchet and Clank on this if you.
Oh yeah, wait, you can't play Returnal.
Yeah, because you can do. There's an alternate control scheme, but it's like the muscle memory for me personally just isn't there with alternate control scheme. And then also, like you're losing a lot of the other stuff other than the triggers that the controller's doing. So like, you know, when your alternate fire is recharged, it does that like sound effect.
Yeah.
Like it's just not in the game. You're losing a lot of that like the haptic feedback vibration stuff. It's just not there. Like when you're walking in the rain and all that sort of stuff. So like I was just trying this out with a bunch of different PS5 games, and there are some that like work just fine. Like the Demon Souls remake, that's a PS5 exclusive, but yeah, it uses the controller, but it's not like necessary to be able to play that game. And then all of the backwards compatible games, you know, like Miles Morales or Forbidden West or whatever, like they translate just fine because there's nothing really exclusive about the DualShock 4 controllers that's gonna like hinder the experience if you don't have that, you know. Whereas with the DualSense stuff, a lot of the PS5 exclusive games just don't work very well with this thing, which is kind of a shame.
I had never really like sat with, okay, like how are these PS5 games gonna work on? That's a good point. I don't know if I didn't read the right reviews, any reviews or any like commentary never even brought this up too, that like, hey, like there are some PS5 capable, you know, controls that aren't going to work or that need remapping to some degree. That's a good point. It really makes you wonder, you know, Sony as a hardware company, you know, why don't they go out and make a DualSense mobile, you know, make a little, and they definitely, even if it was just Apple compatible, because they play very nice with Apple.
Yeah.
You see DualSenses in Apple stores on display. Like in my local Apple store, like they have a Apple Arcade section, and there's DualSenses there just for you to play. Like they like encourage you to play with a DualSense, you know?
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the Backbone controller is like, it's a really good controller. It's just a shame that this is like that the fact that this is like a Sony made device, like an official Sony product, and it just isn't able to be like, it isn't able to play some games. Like you can remap stuff with like Returnal or Ratchet and Clank, but like Astro's Playroom is like 100% unplayable on this thing. Because that thing, that game uses every single feature in the controller. I mean, it's kind of like a hardware demo.
Yeah.
Like a 3-hour-long hardware demo. It's a lot of fun. It's cute. But like, you know, it's really there to show like, here's everything that this thing can do. And if you remember at the beginning of that game, you can do like the controller test where you like really get to see like everything that it can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 out of 5 of the things just don't work on this thing at all.
Yeah, I mean, because the adaptive triggers you can't do. Yeah, I'm curious.
No triggers. There's no rumble. There's no like tilt or motion control.
It has to be possible, right? But that would just be. I wonder how much that would cost too.
That's the thing. Like at a certain
like,
point,
if a DualSense could
be like,
yeah, go ahead.
You know, $100 to get the triggers on there and everything. But I mean, the Backbone itself is $100. So like, you know. Which is $30 more, I think, than the just regular DualSense controllers.
Yeah, I think DualSenses go for like 70, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Good perspective that I've never heard of. I still want it though. I still definitely want it. Yeah.
And
I definitely still want it.
If you're playing Final Fantasy First Soldier or whatever that's called, I tried that out when I first got my Backbone. That game is, in my opinion, not fun to play with the touch controls. It's so much fun with a Backbone or any sort of paired controller.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff that this will be awesome for, but it's just not streaming PS5 exclusive games.
Right.
But how about you, man? What are you playing? How's Mass Effect?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot to say about Mass Effect 2. A lot to say. I have my notebook on specifically I took notes on the suicide mission. All right.
Yeah.
Because I really want to walk through a play-by-play on the suicide mission and what went down, because a lot of things went down. Okay. All right. So I did all of the loyalty missions, even loyalty missions for people that I wasn't really liking that much, you know.
Yeah, who didn't you like?
Miranda, like, I never trusted her. You know what I'm saying? Jack, like, I feel for you. Like, I know you have a really messed up background, but you know what I'm saying?
I get you.
It is what it is. Who else I didn't like? Zaid I heard was DLC from another friend, so he was kind of just like whatever. Kasumi, very irrelevant. Doesn't do much.
She was the other DLC character.
Oh, okay, I see.
Her mission, her loyalty mission, I think is kind of fun when you're like going in, like infiltrating the party, and then you go into like the collection room where you got like the Statue of Liberty and like all that stuff.
That was hype. That was hype.
Yeah.
Okay, no lie, that was hype. You're right. That was fun. That was and definitely like a change of pace a little bit, you know.
Totally.
I liked some of my what was her name? Oh man, she had the daughter. The daughter was like 400 years old. Or whatever. What was her name? Oh,
she's
man.
the same as Liara, right? She's the same, like the blue species, alien species.
This is gonna kill me. Yeah. But damn, what was her name? Well, I liked her mission a lot. That was really cool. How like there was like no combat in her mission for loyalty. Like it was just like a infiltrate the afterlife club. Right. I forgot her name, but
Looking it up.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So
Samara.
Yeah. I thought her mission was cool. My favorites, I think I talked about it last week. Did I already talk about how I liked Morden's loyalty mission probably the best?
I don't remember, but like he's got some cool stuff, Morden.
Dude, his was cool because at first I'm like, bro, you helped create the genophage. I'm not gonna help you. I'm like, no. But then I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll go on the mission. Whatever, fine. But like as we're going through this mission and we're going through this lab and we're trying to track down Morden's assistant or something like that. Morden starts to talk about the genophage and him actually coming up and helping it come to pass, this whole thing, and he talks about how the Krogan, that from their projections, if they kept rising in the population, that like eventually it would completely like disrupt and destroy the galaxy. Because of their might, because of their tendencies and different stuff like that, whatever. But like he then furthers on and is like, yeah, like we developed this genophage to preserve the galaxy, right? And yes, it is very vulgar, right? That we straight up just didn't, that we inhibited the Krogan's ability to reproduce, right? But he talks about how like, he did it very carefully because he did not want to kill them off. He just wanted to population control the species. And he has like a religious almost debate sometimes with him, and he has like a religious conflict of like, what does it mean that I did this? Yeah. Like, how do I like, and it really like showed me like, okay, like I see like you're not a crazy mad scientist, that like there's a lot more emotion and thought to this. Is it still bad? Absolutely. Like what you did was still fucked, like 100%. But I can at least see where you're at least coming from to a certain degree that I at least somewhat respect,
Kevin,
What's up?
Just wait until Mass Effect 3.
Oh man.
Just wait until Mass Effect 3.
Do I start this weekend? Do I fuck around? Look,
dude, if you loved Mass Effect 2, like Mass Effect 3 gets like a lot of shit, I think, because people are like, oh, the ending.
I hear the ending. Yeah, I hear the ending.
I don't think the endings are bad. It's just that like this series, like branches out from all of your choices, and it's like it's small stuff too. You know what I mean? It's not just like the big like, who do you save, Ashley or whatever that other guy's name was. Like it's not all that stuff that like makes the playthrough feel so personal. But what sucks about Mass Effect 3 is that like, because it's a video game that like had to be made to tell like one story, like the ending kind of is a letdown because it doesn't, a lot of your choices that like got you to where you are don't matter. Like you basically just like pick like, here's what I want to do to resolve this conflict. So like that's why I think people like give it a lot of shit. But if you are liking Mass Effect 2, like you will like Mass Effect 3. Yeah. Like the story is so good, and like it goes in some cool places, and like the characters that you like, if they lived, like show up in Mass Effect 3 and like get even better payoffs and all that. Dude, you'll like it. Yeah. We're gonna go into, because I think a lot of this is gonna stem off of how I did on the suicide mission, which is which is a bit
Not exactly how you know what? In a lot of ways, it's how I wanted it to pan out, but there were definitely casualties to say the least. Oh, shout out to Thane's loyalty
Thane.
mission, but
Thane with his
we're gonna talk about Thane in a little bit as well. Shout out to Legion. Legion was very cool, and so
Yes.
so very much I've been role playing, right? So after I did the loyalty missions, I did a few things before we got to the suicide mission. One, I went back to the original Normandy crash site. I got my whole crew's dog tags, planted the statue. I thought that was more fitting to do at the end of my big journey with Mass Effect 2 as like a final, like, hey, you know, shout out to my old crew. I miss y'all, right? Then what I wanted to do, and I was hoping what was going to happen, was that I was trying to go to visit Liara, right? And see if there was any more dialogue with her that the game gives you when you're about to go on the suicide mission. Be like, hey, listen, like, I might not make it back. You know what I'm saying? I want to let these things off my chest. None of that happened. So a little bit let down by that, but hopefully, Liara, I'll see you in Mass Effect 3, hopefully. Seemingly I will. Also, I tried to do the same thing with Captain Anderson. No new dialogue. It's okay.
Sure.
I'll see you in Mass Effect 3 probably. You know. So, suicide mission. Do you want me to tell you the deaths first?
However you've got it written down, man, I want to hear about it.
I kind of want to go. Okay, I'm gonna do it kind of in order, and hopefully I'll try to kind of remember how this goes down. Okay.
Yeah.
We get to the Omega 4 relay. Okay.
Yeah.
We do the thing. We get there. I have made a big error in this playthrough that I did not anticipate would be something that would play into this whole thing. I disregarded.
Did you not upgrade the ship?
I did upgrade the ship.
So you had like 4 people died at the beginning, right? Like,
bro, yo, instantly Jack dead. Drops.
Oh no!
I'm like, what's going on? Wait, what's going on? What happened? And then, yo, Jack. Okay, I didn't like Jack that much. Whatever, it is what it is, right?
Sure.
Thane.
Damn. In that opening cutscene, right? Like,
bro,
nothing you could do, right?
Bro, he got pinned by a fucking metal beam. I don't know what happened, bro. R.I.P. to my man Thane, bro. And so then I was in panic mode. I'm like, listen, I've already lost 2 people. Okay, what is going on? Okay. So what I was trying to do now is that I was being asked, okay, set up your teams. How are you gonna play this out?
Yeah.
I kept my VIPs, the people that I absolutely did not want to die under any circumstances, with me. So that was Tassoni.
Okay.
Tassoni? Yeah. Tassoni. No, wait. Tali. Sorry, Tali.
Yeah.
Tali and Garrus. I'm like, y'all cannot die on my watch. So y'all gonna stick with me. Okay. I let Kasumi head up the infiltration from the inside of the base. Because Kasumi, hey, I don't really, this is your time to shine. Go ahead, queen. She did give her life in that effort. So Kasumi also is dead. Okay. At some point, when does Legion die? Legion died, but
Legion died for you,
bro. It's horrifying, bro. I don't want him to die either, bro. And a lot of things happened, bro. No, listen. I have 2 more deaths to go through, bro.
You have 2 more?
Yeah, but it was real bad. It was real bad, bro.
Holy shit!
It was real bad. All right. So I nominated Zaid. Both times I was asked to lead the alternate squad on what they were doing.
Yeah.
Zaid lost his life in that endeavor at some point. I forgot how. Samara lived. I know that. She was my biotic specialist. Now, Grunt. This was very stressful. There was listen. So we saved the first batch of the crew members, right?
Yeah.
And then Joker's like, listen, if you want, we can send these people on the Normandy if you send someone to go with them. and I was like, okay, I'm looking at my options. It funnels down to two: Morden or Grunt. And I felt like it feels like at some point I'm going to need Morden's biological expertise at some point. Maybe. Turns out, did not need that at all. But I was like, damn. So because I was thinking that way, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna send Grunt. Please be careful, Grunt. Thankfully, he made it back safely. It's all good. He was good.
Oh
Grunt,
man.
Grunt made it out. Okay, so yeah, Legion died, Zaid died. Unfortunately, Miranda did pass away in this mission as well.
Yeah, it's okay. People love Miranda. I think she's all right. Like similar to you. Like I think.
So
Wow.
Yeah, Jack, Thane, Kasumi, Legion, Zaid, and Miranda all lost their lives in this mission.
Dude, that's a bloodbath.
Dude, it was a lot. I was like, bro, what?
Man.
I'm like, bro, all because I didn't upgrade the ship. Are you for real right now? This shit was crazy. Shit was crazy. But yeah, but thankfully, hey, Garrus made it out.
Yeah.
Tali made it out.
Yeah.
My boy Jacob made it out. Yes, sir. Grunt made it out. And whoever else I didn't mention that was a part of that mission made it out. There's definitely more than that. Morden did make it out. Liara is the shadow broker over there.
Yeah.
So she's good.
Yeah.
I hope that me and Caden can make amends in Mass Effect 3. I really hope so. You know, hope that we can,
because he's kind of pissed. Yeah.
He's very pissed at me. Yeah. I was trying to find him on the Citadel, but I couldn't find him.
Is he around?
I don't know if you could even like find him. I was trying to find him though. Like I was trying to see if
he's in one of those story missions at the beginning, but
I know. I mean, he was on one of the planets that the Collectors was going to. I forgot.
yeah.
Ilum? No, I forgot. Yeah. So yeah, that was Mass Effect 2.
Wow.
Yep.
A bloodbath.
Yeah. But there was some really cool moments in that final scene. Really enjoyed it. I did vouch to destroy the base.
As opposed to what? Like keeping it around?
You can keep it and let humanity use its technology and all that.
Oh yeah.
I said nah, bro. Like no. Like that's a no-go. And the Elusive Man not happy with me.
No.
Who
cares? That guy's like
I was
sketchy.
like, look, bro. I was definitely playing nice, but at the end bit, I'm like, listen, bro, like this is what happened. All right. So yeah, that's my Mass Effect 2 playthrough. I feel like it'd probably be wise if I just go into 3 right now while it's a bit of a slow portion. I don't think I'm because maybe Cult of the Lamb I'm playing, maybe I'll pick it up. Roller Drome next week, absolutely, but that seems to be a smaller game in scale and everything. There's Midnight Fight Express.
Oh yeah, that's coming out later in the month, I think.
Yeah. So those are the only 3 games like I'm really looking for, and they're all small. So I feel like I have time for Mass Effect 3.
Are you picking up Saints Row, whatever that is when it comes out? I'm not really.
Yeah, I've never played a Saints Row, so you know.
Yeah, you watch the trailer and you'll know if you like it. You know what I mean? It's kind of.
Like it looks cool, but But I think Mass Effect 3 will lead us greatly into Last of Us Remake, of course. So we'll be all right. Going into the news here. Look at that, 30 minutes in. I will put a timestamp, maybe, hopefully, someone will. But in the news section here, in the news section here, I did a video on this up on the channel Thursday night, but you can check it out on there as well as here. Obviously, I just want to get your take on this, Peter. This tweet came out from the Last of Us TV Twitter account at the Last of Us TV, not official. I think this is just a guy that just talks about the HBO show. It says, quote, according to alleged HBO employees on Reddit, the Last of Us trailer, which is 2 minutes and 30 seconds as of this tweet, should be revealed next month, September 26th, on the Last of Us Day, aka Outbreak Day. Quote, Pedro Pascal looks and sounds amazing as Joel. As a big fan of Last of Us, this got me really excited. This show is going to be huge. And then we have some more, I believe this is on Reddit, that's right under the tweet, of like different Reddit posts from the guy or the HBO employee that was able to watch this trailer. They talk a little bit more about how Joel sounded. I mean, how Pedro sounded as Joel, and he describes it as like kind of like his his Mandalorian Din Djarin voice, but with a bit of a southern slant to it. They and like yeah, like that's pretty much it. And like he was saying that like he really enjoyed it. There wasn't a ton of dialogue between Joel and Ellie in the trailer, but off of just like vibe and overall like aesthetically, it looks very much like they have good chemistry between Joel and Ellie. The what's her Bella Ramsey? Bella Ramsey, yeah. So yeah, just you got any thoughts on this alleged, again, not confirmed, you know, but I do think it's pretty likely that we will see a Last of Us HBO trailer on Last of Us Day. I think that's pretty obvious, but
yeah, you know, I watched your video, the one that went up on PS Source. Just like, you know, taking a look at this and talking to, I think you hit it right on the money about like, you know, it seems like a probably safe bet to assume that we're gonna get something on September 26th for, you know, Last of Us Day. 2.5 minutes. That's a solid trailer.
that's a lot. Oh, and they say that I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry, my bad.
No,
just
right
to give
ahead.
proper context, like in that trailer, they say like there's a lot of recreated shot by shot scenes from the game and new stuff as well, which is super cool.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I think that makes sense. The fact that it's 2.5 minutes is kind of great because I was worried that we were going to get, you know, a 30-second teaser thing that just gets shared around on Twitter. You know what I mean? And not really like getting a really good look at it until the show actually comes out. But do we know if we think we're going to get a release date with this trailer? I think so, right? I think it mentioned that somewhere.
Probably. I don't think it was mentioned here, but like I know, like in terms of a release date, like the last thing that was said was probably Neil Druckmann on Summer Games Fest, or maybe this is a report where like it's been said that like it could potentially be like very end of 2022, like Christmas time. Or 2023, where probably the bulk of it is going to be at, but the premiere is probably around Christmas time. I'll let
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is good news to me. I'm excited for the show, and hearing that, like, basically what this guy on Reddit is saying, like, is, you know, fans who love the original are gonna be impressed with how this is, but then if you're not wanting it to be a 1-to-1 recreation, like, there's gonna be stuff in there for you as well. I'm down with all that.
Yeah. There's a lot here, and that HBO employee made it a point to say, hey, like, I'm a fan of the games.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm not just like some dude that saw it, you know, like, yeah. So that's what's good to hear. But yeah, like there's a lot about this show that I want to dive into in terms of like what the casting choices are, who the characters are, like what they may be playing and everything. So we'll see. Yeah. But I definitely, because they're not showing factions. They said, hey, factions is going to be shown next year more. Like they straight said that, period. So we're not getting that. I thought the other thing that they could have is maybe a Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version update, or if they're going to really be ballsy about it, a director's cut edition of it. That could happen. Who knows? $10 upgrade, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the only other thing that I could see them announcing, but besides this HBO trailer. But I'm excited for it. Definitely.
I think didn't they do like some merch? I mean, just like some, you know,
it's
Last of Us themed merch for that.
Yeah, it's like usually like, you know, wallpapers, merch, some vinyl releases. Like usually it's not usually it's not anything crazy really, you know, but
yeah.
I think this year could be big with it. Definitely. We'll see. We'll see. And speaking on the topic of The Last of Us HBO show, one last thing we got mentioned about it was that we did get some new casting. Henry and Sam, of course, the brothers in the Last of Us game. They have been casted. Henry will be played by Lamar Johnson, while his younger brother Sam will be portrayed by, how am I going to pronounce his name? Kayvon?
Kayvon.
I think it's Kayvon Woodward. Yeah, Kayvon. Yeah. Which, hey, that's a cool remix of Kevin. I like that. I'm gonna ask my parents. What the hell? I could have been Kayvon, bro. That sounds hype as hell, you know? Oh well.
Yeah.
They'll be playing Henry and Sam, of course, and they also casted two other characters, Marlon and Florence, which those we have a description of, like they are going to be like this random couple in the middle of nowhere during the show. So that has to be some new stuff as well. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, and I have a big theory that like this show will be a two timeline thing that tells the events of Ellie's parents leading up to the outbreak,
sure.
and of course Ellie and Joel, right?
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
that's my guess. But yeah, any thoughts on
So-
the Henry and Sam casting?
Yeah, so there's two things I have here. The first is, so I'm on Lamar Johnson, who's playing Henry. I'm on his Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, his IMDb page. And on here, I mean, he's been in a few things. He was in Dark Phoenix, the X-Men movie. He had like a one-off role in like Degrassi, The Next Generation, but like
Fire.
nothing like
Fire.
huge. But in the Last of Us show, he's going to be, he's listed as Henry for season 1, episode 5, and season 1, episode 6. So
Ooh, okay.
if that's anything to go on, obviously, like you said, you know, like they might not be doing exactly, they might not be doing exact like a one-to-one recreation of the game, but if we're going off of like the timeline of the game, they're like sort of towards the middle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
definitely.
so-
yeah.
So, you know, episode 5 and 6 of the show, imagining if it's like a 10 episode series, that would sort of be in line with at least what we've got here.
Good, good
and
find on the
something else.
episode counts. Good find on that.
And something else, Kayvon Woodard is deaf. And so I've got a video
really?
of him here. Yeah. Of this is just like a video of him on Instagram from an account called HBO The Last of Us, which is just like an unofficial it's a fan page, obviously. And so you got a video of him, and you know, he's just signing all sorts of stuff, talking about how he likes hockey and stuff like that. So I think that could be interesting.
That's That's an interesting wrinkle. I like that actually. I think okay.
Yeah.
Definitely different than obviously the original character, right? But like now I'm thinking like a worst case scenario of like shit, like what if that's how he gets bit? He doesn't hear something coming, you know?
Oh yeah, sure.
Like that could oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
This kid's pretty young, so like I was trying to look him up, and there's like not a whole lot about him.
Right.
So I have no idea. You know how. I have no idea how he'll be portraying Sam, obviously, but I think it could be an interesting tilt to it at least.
Yeah. Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to cover this HBO show because like I really want to like see how it's gonna be like going week to week on this show, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm very curious. Also, I can't wait to, you know, show my parents, right? Like, hey, like they're not gonna buy a PS5.
Right, of course.
and play, you know.
Yeah.
But like to tell them, hey, like this is off of a game that I love, off of a universe I love, and like you can relive this first game through this show, right? Like I'm very curious if they like it. Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Good stuff. Last thing here, just a quick one. We have another comparison, you know, which I don't know how I feel about them doing all these side by side comparisons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, but yeah, we have another one of the burning house. Driving past it with Tommy, Joel, and Sarah in the car in the very intro of the game. We'll say that new burning house looks fire. No pun intended, but hey, maybe pun intended. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of fire there. It looks good. What do you think?
I think that, like, you know, we talked, I think last week about the video of Joel and Tommy, you know, going through the, you know, riding horses for 10 seconds that we see. And it's the kind of thing where you go like, yeah, like it does look better, I guess. But I don't know if like that particular little clip did a great job at like selling people on like, look how good this is, you know, look how good this looks. Whereas this clip, I think really does show that, where like it looks good in the original, obviously, but just like the level of detail in the house, and like as it's like it's falling to pieces
Yeah.
in the remake version, whereas like, you know, it's a small detail, but it does showcase like, hey, this game will look good.
Oh yeah.
Like don't get it twisted, you know. And I think that, you know, you're saying that you don't totally get why they're showing off so many different of little clips like this. I think they kind of have to. I think that like they have to sell people on like this game is going to look really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely hear that and feel that. It just doesn't feel like what PlayStation like would do normally. You know what I'm saying? Like how do I say it?
100%.
Like we, in like a much lesser extent, right? Like we didn't get any comparisons from like any comparisons like of this nature, of this degree, of this amount with like Horizon Forbidden West on PS4 versus PS5,
Yeah.
or like a more one-to-one comparison, Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Do we get anything like that? Like ever, you know? So
You're
like
totally right. Yeah.
so yeah, like I mean like I do get why this is happening. It's because of the, you know, outcry that we've seen on Twitter about what the nature of this game is, and from a value perspective that people are weighing it at. I totally get why. It just seems like a weird move that I wouldn't think that PlayStation would do. You know what I'm saying?
I do, because
don't
this
know.
feels a little bit more like a dev diary sort of, or like development update. You know what I mean? Sort of thing where like if you were following an indie game that you know, like had a Kickstarter or something like that, where they're like giving you constant updates about like, hey, here's how the game's going, like here's this little thing that you can see. Whereas like exactly to your point, like this has been sort of like a drip feed of like
Yeah.
every week there's like another 10 seconds for us to be able to see, which is unlike how Sony's handled other releases. So like I totally get what you're saying.
Actually, you know what? Too, when you really think about The Last of Us Part 1, none of this rollout has seemed anything like traditional Sony and how they prop up their games. Right? It wasn't
Yeah.
debuted at a. I mean, I mean, like it was, but like it leaked early. But then, like even like, how to explain it? Like, it wasn't like the reveal of like God of War in 2016, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like the reveal of The Last of Us Part 2 in that PSX conference. I think in also 2016 or 2015 maybe. Or from like a more recency thing, right? Like it wasn't unveiled at a PlayStation showcase where we got like Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West, right? Like this was on Summer Games Fest, something that is not Sony, right? Yes, it debuted with a trailer, but it was a trailer that it's not like a. It's not like it's not like the reveal that I don't know. Is that true? It just doesn't feel like it hasn't felt normal. Like am I normal?
Yeah.
Am I normal? I mean like usual PlayStation, how they prop up their games and talk about their games. You know, this whole thing has just
100%.
felt interesting. And granted, even though it feels not like traditional, if you will, it's out in how long? 19 days, right?
Right.
So this will be done and gone, and like it'll be what it was in a very short period of time, you know. And and it got confirmed. What was it? Middle of June, and September is a release. Boom. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, we'll see. Just something to think about.
Agreed. 100%. I'm on board with you.
Something to think about. But lastly, here to get to the main topic of the show, we're gonna talk a little bit. This one I'm very eager to see these comments. I'm very eager to see this feedback. You know what I'm saying? And like we said in the first episode, hey, if you don't like Last of Us Part 2, that's fine. You know, if you have real, true reasons, that's fine. I get it. You know, Last of Us Part 2 is not perfect. There's definitely problems with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to talk about what if Abby was in The Last of Us Part 1. All right. Now, if you have any gripes that are of the, you know who you are. All right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm
Yes, I
saying?
do.
Like, if you dislike Abby beyond the actions that she takes in the game, or or what have you, if it involves a physical stature, if it involves this and the third, you know, you can see your way out this video. You know what I'm saying? That's how
I get you. No, 100%.
And then, so I think a big thing that we have to also take into account, like this is very much a hypothetical, because if Abby was in The Last of Us Part 1, right, I think that would kind of undermine a lot of what Part 2 brings to that story. And the like really smart, I feel like, retroactive use of what happened in the first game and making that blend into Part 2 in a very like very cool way in the realm of like the reveals that happened in Part 2. I don't think it happened in the same way if Abby was in the first game. But so this is very much like a hypothetical view. What if Abby was in Part 2, Peter? You got like when you hear that, what comes to mind?
So like, let me just off the bat, I don't hate that idea necessarily.
Okay.
In theory, I don't hate that idea.
Right.
If we were gonna take this remake in an interesting new direction, where yes, they're gonna remake, you know, the original game, but if they were to add additional context by, you know, I don't know, throwing in multiple sections about her and the rest of the Fireflies, giving some background on her life and whatever else, I think that could be cool. But with the way that they're like, it seems that they are trying to be very, very gentle when they talk about this game by saying this is a one-to-one recreation. Like, you know, every single thing that you remember is going to be exactly the same in this version, but it's going to look way better. The character model is going to look so much better. The glass, when it shatters, the physics are going to be insane, right? Like
the chippable concrete.
Yeah, right. Like, you know, I get it, but they have been so adamant on saying, I'm like doubling down on like, no, it's going to be a remake, like a very faithful adaptation remake of the original game. To me, that means that Abby, like that there wouldn't be any like significant additional content that would go into it. Whereas if they were to say, hey, you know, this is going to be a remake, but it's going to be a retelling of that story, I think it could be kind of interesting if you're going to include scenes with Abby and other Fireflies and whatever else. But with the way that it is right now, if she were to be in it, the vibe I get, it would be at the very end, which we talked about last week about how if she showed up at the end after Joel and Ellie like leave the hospital and like, you know, Owen's there and they see the dead body, the dad, like, I just don't know if that would be, to me, it would feel like that was taking the focus off of the actual emotional ending that we get and off of the questions that we're sort of left with and have to wrestle with at the very end. Does that make sense?
No, you're absolutely right. Like one thing also to say, like Neil Druckmann, The Last of Us is his baby, right? Like he had a big part of Uncharted 4. He worked as, I believe, like I think a level designer or something like that throughout the Uncharted trilogy. But The Last of Us was Neil's baby, in the same vein that Amy Hennig, her baby at Naughty Dog was Uncharted, right?
Yeah,
and he's always said straight up, The Last of Us is a story about Joel and Ellie, period.
Yeah.
That's always going to be the focus. And you can definitely see how even in Part 2, where, you know, Joel is not there a lot, what he does and the effect that he has on Ellie is still very much prevalent, right? And it ties in at the end of the game perfectly of like, like you like see that it's still very much a Joel and Ellie story, right? So I'm with you on that. Like if they had, you know, Abby at the end of The Last of Us Part 1, right? That would throw off the focus of the game, right? And also to go with you as well, right? Like that will completely take away the weird like elusiveness of being able to play as Abby in the very beginning of Part 2.
Yeah.
And you're with Owen, right? You're with I forget their names, but you're like with that crew and they're hunting Joel, right? Like that whole thing, you would just know off rip, oh, she's going after Joel.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, like I know that would break that, right? But I love your idea, and I had forgot until you said it right here that yeah, Abby used to be a Firefly.
Yeah.
Dude, that could be that. I mean, honestly, when they announced part one and like we started first getting like leaks and everything about an eventual, Last of Us remake, right? Like one of the things I remember thinking and saying was that, hey, like if they are going to charge full price for this, right? I would love if we had an Abby chapter, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be just in the same vein as Left Behind, right? Where like
Yeah.
Left Behind stands on its own, and the original Last of Us is the original Last of Us, right? But it ties in very well to the Last of Us, and you can see in the main story, hey, this is when Left Behind happens, right?
Yeah.
It'd be really cool if they had we had the Abby component and like
Yeah. Just a DLC or something like that. I'm into that.
yeah, like I forget, does Abby know Marlene?
I don't know. I don't know if she is Marlene even mentioned in part 2.
She's in part. Is she
yeah,
in part
she
two?
is. She
Yeah,
is.
she's in part two.
She is the meeting with Abby's dad, and then so Abby does know Marlene because she comes in if she brings him like dinner or something like that, and then
the hospital.
Marlene dips. Yeah, like I could be down with that. I will say this though.
Big brain. Go ahead.
What's up? Yeah, no, you go.
I mean, big brain. They can put the Abby stuff in between where Marlene leaves Joel and Ellie, or I think at that point Joel and Tess, right? Because we don't see her all the way till the end of the game. So that's where you could put in that, and then we have Abby and her dad hunting at the like zoo thing or whatever with the zebra thing. Remember? Well, not hunting, but like they help that zebra off of the like barbed wire type thing.
Yeah,
could be interesting. But go ahead.
I think regardless of what her role will be, I would at least be surprised if there isn't a cameo or an Easter egg in part 1 that references her. Whether it's the sort of thing where like at the end they're in the Firefly facility and like as Joel is talking to Marlene about what's gonna happen, like in the background, like you see a bunch of people like running past the doors and like she's one of them or something like that, or I don't know, like I would be surprised if there wasn't an Easter egg of some kind that references her in some way.
Yeah.
But I don't know what sort of scale that would even be. So
would it be wild? Wait, no, because I'm trying to remember where Abby is during this. She's not in, because she comes into the facility after her dad's
she's there.
Dead. But
well, she's there the whole time, isn't she? Because like, she's there when her dad and Marlene are talking about Ellie, and Ellie is
she's on the
there.
operating table. Yeah, she's like about to go to surgery. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so she's like down the hall.
Is she in Marlene's office? Wouldn't it be cool if like maybe like you walk past the door in part 1 and like you hear Owen and Abby having a conversation or something like that?
Right, so something like that. Just like a small little Easter egg.
Damn.
Just to provide a little bit of context and fill out that world a little bit, but not in a way that's like super distracting. You know what I mean? Just like if you know, you know, but if you don't, like it's all good.
And I do feel like 100%. If part 2 wasn't as divisive as it was, I think they would have done it, bro.
Like it made her a much bigger part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if they would change, because I do see value in like understand that, hey, like you can't really like put her in the first game without it breaking part 2, because it would, right?
100%.
But making a separate DLC, right?
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Actually,
I think, bro, because that could give a lot of context to the Fireflies. It's a very prominent group in it that, we get to get a great look at the WLF when you play as Abby, and then you get a great look at the Seraphites when you play as Abby some more, and you get with Lev and Yara and all that. So a big thing of that is that like we don't really have like a Firefly thing. We kind of do with Left Behinds. I mean, is it brought up a lot? I mean,
like,
it is. I think it is, right?
Because she lives in oh no, so she lives in the safe zone, and they talk about not getting mixed up with the fireflies, but she I think already knows them a little bit,
She
and so
is,
she runs into them, doesn't she, at the very end of it?
because I know even before Left Behind takes place, Ellie and Riley are both at like this like boot camp type thing
Yeah.
where they meet Marlene, and
Yep.
I I'm pretty sure that like boot camp thing is like I think it's literally for the fireflies, like so. If I remember
Marlene
correctly.
knows Marlene knows Abby's mom, and Marlene gives Marlene knows Ellie's mom.
Yes, that's true.
And gives Ellie the knife, the pocket knife.
The knife and
Because
the
that was her
leather.
mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was in the comic. I just read the American
American Dreams, I think.
Dreams.
Or
Yeah.
was it American Girls? Something like that.
I've only read the one. I've only read American
Yeah.
Dream.
I know all this right now for a big Last of Us video I'm working on. All right, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I know Peter knows, but I know a lot about Last of Us right now. but yeah, yeah, dude. I just think like there's definitely a way that they could make it work,
Yeah.
And like I get, and like also like to a degree, like I mean, how do you feel about this, right? Like I thought a lot about when part 2 came out, and a lot of people had specifically problems with the pacing, which I definitely can see, definitely agree with that to some degree, right? But I always thought it would be neat if like they almost had like different cuts of how you play part 2, right? Where you can perhaps play it in a chronological fashion, right? Where you go through the flashbacks first, then you get to the middle of the game where Joel dies, right? And maybe you do, but that's tough because then you need the Abby flashbacks.
Are you thinking that it would like alternate between each?
Yeah.
So you get a flashback with Ellie, and then a flashback with Abby, and then a flashback with Ellie, then Abby, then Ellie, then Abby, and then you like now it's Ellie in current present day, and then she's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's tough because like Last of Us 2 is literally 2 games. Like
That's
it's
the thing.
literally two. It's 15 hours like stacked back to back.
I understand why people have issues with the pacing when you think of it as a traditional like 3-act story. Because yeah, like you get to the climax of the story when they meet up in the theater, and then like the whole thing comes grinding to a halt so that you can start the story over with Abby. It's like I get why people, and like myself included, when I played it for the first time, I was like, oh, the pacing on this is way off. Because I didn't know it wasn't like a traditional like whoop,
Yeah.
but
Dude.
yeah.
I think you asked me.
I think I'm gonna play part 2 after I finish part 1. No, you're about to say? Yeah, man.
Dude, I think you asked me. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to resist because like, as I'm doing this research for this big video, right? Like, I forgot how much I fucking loved the theater setup.
Yeah.
Of like, listen, like, look at this beautiful old theater and some heavy shit is going down. And like, this is the spot, And I love it too, because like, when you go back to it, you just think about it. And at least I thought about it in such a different way where I'm like, fuck, man, Ellie is a piece of shit,
Dude,
Like,
my
dude, like, what?
favorite scene.
Like,
I think my favorite scene in part 2 happens in the theater, and it's after she comes back after she tortures Nora. She comes back and she's all rattled, you know what I mean? And I think Jesse's there, but her and Jesse and Dina and Jesse are like, are you good? And she's like really quiet. And then she has that scene where she's in the like changing room, makeup room in the theater, and you've got like the mirrors and the lights going around the mirrors and stuff, and she takes her shirt off, and Dina's like, fixing up her back and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting there just like silently sobbing. And like, they're not saying anything, but it's just this moment where it's like, hey, Ellie, like, you got to stop this. Like, this isn't like you are going somewhere that these people can't follow you,
Bro,
Damn.
it's so fucking good, bro.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Well,
I might fuck around. I might have to play part 2 after part 1. Fuck it. I might. We'll see. We'll see. I might do it. Bro.
But that's what's so cool about like the idea that it's not The Last of Us 2. It's The Last of Us Part 2. In the same way that this is The Last of Us Part 1. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a sequel. It is the second piece of this story. You know what I mean? That's like essential to understanding the whole thing.
Which is why, like, knee-jerk reaction when I hear, okay, the name of The Last of Us Remake is The Last of Us Part 1. It's not The Last of Us Remake. It's not just The Last of Us. It's The Last of Us Part 1. Right? So that's why off rip, when they said that, I was like, yo, Abby's going to be in this bitch. Like,
Sure.
like 100%.
Sure.
100%. What do you mean? But, you know, they were very vocal on like, hey, like, this is going to be faithful to the first game, you know, like different stuff like that, right? But throw the DLC. Come on, man. Why not? Man?
But
Come
also,
on, man.
like,
Come on,
as
man.
much as I'm willing to say, like, yeah, it probably is just a faithful, remake of the original game. There's another part of me that's sort of thinking, like, I don't know, they pulled a big switcheroo for The Last of Us Part 2. You know, like the fact that Abby was in it, like that whole. There was so much about Last of Us Part 2 that was just all a surprise. And it was just all a secret leading up to its release, you know? So while I think that this game is probably a very faithful one-to-one recreation of The Last of Us, 2013, I wouldn't, like there's a part of me also that's kind of like, they did that before and they really surprised us. I'm not holding out hope. I'm not willing to die on that hill, but I am saying like I've been surprised before about stuff like this.
No, but let's kind of walk down that avenue a little bit more, dude. Can you imagine if embargo lips, right? And all these reviewers and all these outlets are like, listen, like, this is great, but like y'all don't understand. Like, and like, what if they're intentionally like, hey, like, we can't say certain things about this game, right? And like, can you imagine what that's going to spark?
It'll be nuts.
I'm going to love it. Listen, bro, I'm gonna flip.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would eat it up. And the reason why, hey, and if you're mad, the remaster's still there, you know?
Yeah, he's part of the original.
But this is part 1. Dude, fuck. Yo,
I mean, it could, listen, I'm not willing to die on that hill. But it could. Who's to say?
And we get to do a spoiler cast for real this time.
Yeah, we can do a real spoiler cast. Yes.
Now, damn it. Okay, this is where I get giddy and I can't help it when shit like this happens. But like, I'm never going to forget what you just brought up, right? Hey, listen. This is Naughty Dog. All right. Who the fuck? Like, who the fuck? Like, come on, bro. Like, yo.
They're like the best in the biz. Like,
oh, I'm gonna be so happy if this is more than just that, bro. I would forgive them for no dodge, no prone.
Right, that's
all
the thing.
good. It's all good, bro. It's okay.
If they were able to put stuff like that in, it would be the sort of thing that is like a real game changer, especially when talking to people about like, hey, this is worth the money to buy as a brand new title. You know what I mean? I'm like less than 1% feeling that that's the case. I'm over 99% certain that this is a faithful one-to-one recreation of The Last of Us. But there's a minuscule chance that it could be something more.
Listen, when are we doing the bets episode? Hold on. Let me see. When are we doing the bets episode? Because that's in like, I think 2 weeks. I think next, where the hell is the plan for this road to? Where the fuck is it? Hello? Is it over here? No, I gotta search it. Hold on. Here it is. Here it is. So next week, we're doing, what PlayStation first party game should be the next Last of Us remake, right?
Okay.
It's gonna be something that's kind of related, but not too much related to Last of Us. And then the week after, the 28th, is gonna be the bets episode.
Okay.
We're gonna do some bets because okay, you say you're at 1%,
Less than 1%.
bro. If I really sit down and think
I'm at
about,
0.5%.
it's called part one. It's called part one, and I understand. And I understand that Kev is just because it's gonna make it look better. Part one, part two.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But as far, dude, I'm at like a 20% chance. Bro.
You're like 20%. Because here's the thing. I wish that were true. Like for me, that is my dream. That's my hope that it's something completely transformative and different.
Dude.
But just I wish. I hope.
For real.
0.5.
For real.
0.5.
If I was like a Sony exec, listen, if I was a Sony exec, if I was Jimbo Ryan himself, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think Jim Ryan would actually say yes to this. But if I were in his shoes, right? And Neil's like, listen, we have the original game remade. Okay. It's front to back, pretty much done. It's all good. However, yeah, as you know, we're Naughty Dog, right? We're the ones that were like, hey, let's make an Uncharted 4 DLC. Oh no, we have too much big ambitions. It's its own game, Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the studio that, we are going to, not have multiplayer for Last of Us Part 2 day one because we have bigger ambitions. And here is a full separate game that we'll be getting next year, right? We're that studio. Right, we're the studio that pulled a MGS2 in 2020 and did it again. Did a lot of people like it? Hell yeah. A lot of people not like it. It is what it is. Right. So Jim, I want to show you a different cut of part one that we have in the books, and if it's like, bro, 20 hours, 20.
Yeah, I'm in.
18.
I'm in.
18 to what? The original game's 10 to 12. This one's like 18 and 20. We're not doing a 30-hour game. We're not going to do that. But an extra 6 to 8 hours. We have a lot of Abby in here. We get to learn more about the Fireflies, more Marlene. You know what I'm saying?
I'm into it.
Fuck it. Some more Tommy.
Yeah. Anything.
Maria.
My hope is it's that.
Hey,
I don't know.
How did Dina and Jesse get to Tommy's camp? We could learn that.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I personally would love that shit. I would. But yeah, ultimately, closing thoughts. Okay, 20%. Am I at 20%? I may be at like a 15, but bro, I really want it. I really want it. I would love to see the reaction.
It would be. I think it would be a really interesting reaction,
dude.
Especially just from how strongly people have felt about this and how strongly people have been saying naysayers about this for good reason. Like I get it. I'm not trying to like dog on anyone who's skeptical of this. Like I understand, but I think that the reaction from people would be pretty out of this world.
It would be so extreme from like both ends, bro. People, dude.
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, like I said, half a percent. I'm sure that they're doing it, but like, I want that with 100% of my heart. I want that to be true.
Dude, I really want it. I really want it, guys. Oh man. Like this, dude. Can you imagine me and you were playing, right? If I get a text from you, that's like, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Have you got to this part, or like, have you like made it past Bill's town, bro?
Right.
It's
like no
there.
why. And you're like nothing.
I'm like, nah, I've been there yet. I'll let you know, bro. That would be this would be a crazy.
It would be killer.
This would be a crazy road to arc, bro. From like episode 1 to episode 9, bro. Oh man. But yeah, okay. Maybe less than 1% is probably a better guess, but 12. Who
could say? 12. Not me. I'm not working on it.
Just bro,
I'll have it in my hand.
I had that first knee-jerk reaction of like, why call it part 1? I know why, but like why? You know what I'm saying? Like
no, I know what you mean.
We'll see.
I get it.
We'll see. Abby, come on in the part 1. Come on, man. Come on in. Come on in. But as we exile here, Peter, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at PETERSPITTECH. You can find me there. You can find pretty much any of my work there. My podcast, Hitbox Pod on Twitter. You can find us on Patreon as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole thing. And that's about it.
Links below in the description, so all those links. And of course, this has been Road to Part 1, Episode 3. The weekly podcast dedicated to any and all things Last of Us Part 1 Remake, from news, lore, reactions, and upon release, I'll review and hopefully we're doing a spoiler cast, bro. Because goddamn, that shit would be crazy. That shit would be crazy.
I'm for it.
19 days to go. We are in the 2. We are almost there, kind of.
Yeah.
Under 3 weeks for sure. We're almost there. Catch so here on YouTube, the Conferences, Plays, and Source, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, etc. via that anchor link down below in the description. Like the video and or rate the podcast. It really does help us get see more viewers so we can grow the PSS family. Down below as well, let us know what you like or dislike about the show, and connect with us further on Twitter. I had a cough. My bad. Look at me. I have the CBI. I have the Cordyceps virus.
I'm glad we're recording remotely, is what I'll say. How's that? If you're gonna turn and bite, like, hey, I'm not around to have it happen.
There's the turn to a runner. Then you get to a clicker. No, runner, stalker, clicker, whatever. Bloater.
Yeah.
Rat King. I really hope I'm a Rat King. That'd be lit.
Rat King.
That'd be lit. Yeah. That'd be lit. That'd be lit. Twitter and Discord down below in the description. If you're feeling generous, hit that join button, become a $1 Prince tier member or a $5 King tier member, just like to be with Musa on the Prince tier and Caleb Kaiser, the Iraq Knight, and the homie Owen on the King tier. We will see y'all next week. Thank God for watching. And as always, greatness awaits.
Greatness awaits.